when a work friend gets promoted and leads to a crossroads in your relationship, plus business mixers, how I hate them and other people hate them too, and revisiting a question from episode 11 asking about the necessity of being on Snapchat. This is episode number 20 of Business Questions Answered Here. Welcome to the podcast. My name is Jay Cleveland Payne. I'm a personal and professional development specialist. I have an MBA, and most importantly, I have made tons of mistakes in over 20 years of working on and worrying about my own small business and the management of all my endeavors in entrepreneurship. So I would like to help you by allowing you to learn from my personal mistakes, my decades worth of study and research, and some insights that I also get from other business people and entrepreneurs that I get a chance to chat with here and there. So to submit your question for this podcast, visit the main website, businessquestionsansweredhere.com. This episode is sponsored by GoSmallBiz.com. More on our sponsor in a moment, but let's start with the first question of the week.
Question number 1.
This question comes in from Terry, and it comes about a relationship that looks like it's about to end around the workplace. The question reads, my work friend and former peer used to be awesome. As a coworker and team member, she was great at getting her work done and assisting others who fell behind. She was promoted to a supervisory role for a newly created working team, and now she is terrible. She isn't good at managing, delegating, or keeping her team on the real task at hand. And she's not a very good work friend anymore now that we are not on even standing on an org chart. Do I let it go and move on, or do I try to salvage the relationship and be a conscience to help guide her through her management duties? So, Terry, first, thank you very much for the question. And now, first, the general all answer to most things that happen in situations, then my actual personal answer to what I think about what you should do. Okay, so remember, you always have a choice to leave a situation, even if that choice means going to a less ideal situation. So whether a situation is good or bad, you can choose to move to a different one that's even better or a whole lot worse, depending on what you think the reason is. And it could just be on a whim, time allotted, whatever happened. So you can change the situation anytime you need to. Your situation here is a fairly simple one. You're looking at the relationship itself. Now, here's what I think you could do. And I say could do. If you can help your former peer, if you can assist her in doing better things, that is an awesome thing to do if you can do that. Now, if you can't make that happen, you just have to move on and let it go. Luckily, it'll be a little easier for you because it's not a working relationship with you anymore. She doesn't work with you. You don't work for her. She's in a supervisory role someplace else or with some other group. So you don't have to worry about a subordinate type relationship going back and forth. However, maybe because the groups are similar or in the same building or for whatever reason, you may find yourself running into each other in similar circles, in similar meetings, similar gatherings, things because of proximity or because of what you're actually doing. That will make things extremely awkward, obviously. So you may have to find a way to alleviate yourself of your position there if it becomes something of a standard procedure to kind of avoid someone you can't avoid. Whatever you do, do not force the actual situation that's going on. You will have a natural feel of what to move to. You will know whether you are being pulled towards helping her out, pulled towards being there for her, pulled towards continuing your relationship, even though she's having a rough go at doing it on her end, or you'll have a feel of pushing away, going away and dealing with it or letting it deal with itself by essentially going away. And you just have to accept where that will and that way is going to end up. You can't do much about it, but let life happen. And if you just end up kind of ghosting each other, just kind of stop talking to each other on a normal basis, that's actually perfectly reasonable. That's a great way to end a relationship if you both sort of stop talking to each other, because then there's a lot less dealing with the awkwardness of trying to keep things going and the other one is not doing it. That works out, oddly enough, great for you in this ending relationship, unfortunately. Now, if that doesn't happen, if she reaches out to you with questions about how she's doing, then that's a perfect time to solidify the relationship, if it still feels right, and give her some gently crafted answers to what she's asking. Remember, you're not her boss, you're not a supervisor, you're not her coach, you're not there to judge, but if she wants some help, give it to her. If she reaches out but doesn't want your input, don't give it to her. You're not her boss. You're not a supervisor. You're not her coach. You are her friend, and you are still her peer, and she may now be a bit higher on the org chart, but that doesn't mean you can't share good times together. You can't share laughs and talking about the situations you have going on at work. But if she asks you for information, if she asks you for fair or unfair information, I guess, it's up to you to gently give it to her and not force it upon her, especially if it's something that could really make her feel bad and kind of douse her joy in doing her job, especially since you're saying she's not doing so great. Maybe she thinks she's doing awesome, and maybe her bosses are okay with what she's doing. Maybe she knows she's not doing so great, and she's worried about that. If she needs help and she asks for help, offer it. If she doesn't, don't offer it. If she doesn't reach out and you don't feel like reaching out to her, it may be the time to find a new work friend.
Question number 2.
The next question came in from Gina. It reads like this. I am an office manager for a family-run accounting firm that is in need of new clients. The company is constantly being invited to business mixers, and I hate business mixers. Being significantly younger than the founders of the company, it falls on his sons and me in the same age and range to be representatives for these things. Is there a better way for me to connect with these people to hopefully get more clients than with drinks and stale munchies? So thank you, Gina, for the question. And for my answer, it's going to sound so weird coming out of my mouth and back into my ears, but the answer is yes. You should go to the business mixers. You should go to the very next one you get invited to, and without even thinking about it, without blinking, without even trying to find a way to get out of it, go to it, commit and go. You should show up a few minutes early, right before the start of it, more or less, and make some connections pretty quickly with one or two familiar people, and then find one new person to connect with, and then go immediately home. Now, why is this answer so weird to me? Because it goes around the standard, it depends. I just flat out said, yes, you do this thing. And it goes against my actual hate for business mixers personally. I really don't dig them at all. But yes, you should go to a few and run this playbook that I just gave you, because this is what you're actually doing. You are stealthily attempting to get to know the who's who in the networking game in your town and in your industry. You're going to find out who's actually running these things, who's actually managing these things, and who's actually reaching out to the people who know the people to get people to come to these things. But per semantics, your actual question was, is there a better way to do this thing than doing the mixers, better way to find more contacts and connect than doing the drinks and munchies things? And the answer to that question is yes, there is a much better way to make connections, and you don't need to put yourself out there demeaning yourself by drinking watered-down drinks with people who are literally just looking for excuses not to go home, but don't want to do any actual work at the job. They don't want to sit at home with extra work, but they're trying to avoid something at home. So what you're going to have to do is figure out the people and the mechanisms behind the mixers you're going to. See what they're doing to make things happen and how they reach out to different people and who these people are, because those are where your potential clients are. Essentially, you're trying to get the list that the mixer organizers are using to curate these things to get in with the right people. So once you know the right people to get to, you can go straight to them without having to deal with all the chit-chat stuff at a mixer. Now, in the process, you may find yourself involved in more mixers. And with that, you may be out there organizing a few. You may host a few for your company. That's always big juice there as well. And you will do all these things that you won't want to do. Maybe you're an introvert. Maybe you just don't want to deal with different people. But it's one of the things you'll have to do to get on the in for the people who have the connections. Once you have access to the connections, you can stop going to mixers and go directly to the connections via however you need to. But you may still want to go to a mixer here or there. You may actually start to find you like some of the people going to the mixers. You may find it's the same people going to the mixers who are avoiding whatever's going on at home. So your need to keep going is all up to you. Your mileage may vary on going to mixers after you get access to that big group of people, that list, if you will, of how people access to other people. But in the meantime, go to some mixers, go to a bunch of mixers, do the simple playbook. Show up early, right about on time, right in that early window. Hang out with two people you know. Meet one new person you haven't met yet, and just go home. You're not obligated to stay till the party really kicks off. You just are there to make contact with a few more people. Then eventually you'll make contact with the people doing the mixers. They'll help you get access to the real list, the real way they reach out to people. You'll find out why you're getting so many invites and who gets them as well. Then you can go to those people directly and not have to do the faux party thing. When we come back, we'll revisit a question from a past episode. We'll go back through the question and see whether the answer now really still applies to what we answered then. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they are drastically different, and we'll find out about that in just a bit. But first, let's talk about today's big sponsor, and that is Go Small Biz. Go Small Biz is a website. It's a program. It's a place. It could be magic to your business. For $39 a month, you can get all these great features taken care of for you for your small business or not so small business. You get unlimited business consultations from their people group. Actual people will help you work through your business issues. They also have a website builder built into the system, a CRM with email marketing built in as well, digital marketing dashboard, website consultation analysis, a transaction tracker, business plan software for you people who have been backing away from doing an actual business plan. Bam, you have software to make it happen automatically or with a little help, of course. Your HR document builder for your HR department that doesn't exist because it's actually you. It'll help out with that. Also, a way to write your corporate minutes and risk assessment plans as well. Business and legal forms that you can just drop and copy and use for yourself, along with online business courses, all that you want to take right there for one small price per month, $39 per month. Go Small Business could be the magic that helps make your business run better. Give it a try by going to our website for a great deal as well. Go to businessquestionsansweredhere.com/GoSmallBiz, B-I-Z, Go Small Biz, B-I-Z, and get a great deal, a great package for a great service. If you're having issues getting everything you need taken care of for your small business in various different websites and different plans and different places, one place, Go Small Biz, may be the place to help you out. Check it out by going to businessquestionsansweredhere.com/GoSmallBiz.
A question revisited.
We go to episode 11, and John with a great name and a great question as well, talking about Snapchat and, of course, do I need to be on it? Here is how the question read when we first received it. I'm a business major, and I am still working on my undergraduate degree. I am trying to create a digital media profile because I want to merge my dream of working in broadcasting with my deep interest in business and finance. I am confused in the right sources of social media to use to promote my work and engage with my audience. Snapchat seems to be all the rage, and the big-time internet personalities are raving about the response they get being there, but the demo doesn't make sense. I'm in my early 20s, and I think my target is people with money to spend, which should be people 5 to 10 years older than I am. My research turned up that 23% of the power users of Snapchat are between 13 and 17. Do I really need to start using Snapchat? Can I be new media and not be on social media for my business at all? That question, received and answered in September of 2016, is still a relevant question, but the times they have a change and things with the situation in the landscape aren't quite the same. Now, Snapchat is still kind of a pretty big deal, but not exactly all the hype that it used to have a year or so ago. Although there are still plenty of people in that same demo that John explained who are all over the Snapchat and a bit higher and sometimes really higher. There are plenty of people, internet marketer types and people who are promoting things all over Snapchat because there are people there. There are people on Facebook. There are people on Twitter. There are people on Instagram. There are people on various different social networks, and some I have no idea exist because they come in and they come out, and it takes a while for one to get enough traction to stick around. But the main question is that the hype around all social media, the Jump On and Snapchat, is decreased. But what has grown is the hype for things that allow you to do streaming things live. Snapchat does that, although it does it in small bursts. Instagram is doing that. Facebook and Twitter via Periscope, is doing that. Periscope essentially the leader, clubhouse leader of the thing, although Facebook has sort of overcome it by integrating it into itself. And, of course, there was Meerkat, which may or may not still exist, which is essentially Periscope without using Twitter. Now, we're not going to talk about live streaming. That's a whole nother issue. But the big question in this one is on the need for using social media for promoting oneself and their brand. And you probably should. But the caveat on this one isn't a matter of which one do you choose. It's a matter of which one are you on. Because what you don't want to do, unless you want to spend some money for someone to do this for you, which is fine if you believe you should do this, if your demo, if your numbers really think you should have this, is it should not be a distraction. It's a distribution tool and just another distribution tool. I work daily in radio. That's one way to get information out to people via the audio waves that go through the airwaves. Also, I'm doing a podcast, so you can download this on demand and take it as well. I've done buildings in television and on video things, and that's another way in itself. And they're all just different channels of distribution. I've not sold a billboard in my lifetime, but I understand what they are. They're just a big old sign that tells you when to go buy something and where to go get it. It's just a channel of distribution. Now, if you are adept to a certain social media, if you love it on your own and your demo, people you want to sell to are on that social media, it's just a matter of building another platform, building another profile for your brand and shooting things out there and just making that a part of your regular scheduled promotion time. Now, if you're not on the social media platform of choice or of target, I should say, and you choose to do that, then you either have to learn it or pay someone else to do it. If you feel a need to be there, then all fine and dandy. If it's a distraction, if it's something that really does not get you anything, and sometimes the hype on being on social media doesn't really give you the access to the people you want, but it gives you access into the minds of various people. You get to see so many things when you go through a Twitter feed on a certain hashtag to see how many people believe yay or nay towards a thing, products, politics, whatever. But the big issue is, does it work for you? If your brand can use a little extra and free promotion in most cases, Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and Snapchat may be the way to go. It's all a matter of how frustrating the app is. And for me, Snapchat was extremely frustrating. We tried to do some things for our radio station. And since I work with a station with an older demo, me being frustrated means my demo would be even more frustrated. It got dropped. The younger demo stations are using it all the time because it works for them and they are there. Although the older demos, we've basically taken over Facebook. Facebook's a great place because you can type as many things as you want to. Twitter's also there as well for quick response, and the source, the president, is there. This is the largest Twitter account or most important Twitter account in the world. Everybody follows that. So you can follow anybody you want to on the Twitter. Instagram is a little bit different. The images don't work as well from the demos I work with particularly, but for my own personal brands, I do use it for some visual things, and it works out to various degrees of success. But my main focus is on the things I consume all the time. Lots of Facebook and lots of Twitter because there's information there, and that's where I focus my personal brand stuff on the social medias. But this is one of those your mileage may vary questions. Maybe you're a person that can get a lot out of being on Snapchat, and Snapchat has a lot of younger demos, and younger demos may not have all the money you're looking for, but they do have a chance to gain lots of money, and they do spend things on very impulsive things. 13-year-olds buy a lot of little quick things that are short money, and you can really get a lot out of them in a quick burst. You're not trying to sell a house or a car. You're just trying to sell an item, an app, or something that's on this cheaper side, and they'll easily throw a couple bucks that way just to get it and use it, even if it doesn't stay there. So the answer to the question now is, do you need to be on Snapchat specifically? Not necessarily. Should you be on social media? If you're personally on social media, you should probably be on the social media accounts that you use personally, because that's probably where the people you're selling to are. If you're not on those personal accounts or those personal social media accounts, they don't really attract you. If you don't want to pay someone else to do it, don't worry about it. It's a distraction. Find another way that's a better way for you that does get results. Believe it or not, people still open up a phone book, so the yellow pages do exist. They may be a paperweight in your house, but in some places, the yellow pages are still a great place to access information. So they still sell ads. You just have to be in that generation to want to pick up the yellow pages as opposed to pick up your phone. Thank you once again for being a part of the podcast. If you want to be a part of the process of the podcast, it's very simple. Send in your questions to Business Questions Answered Here, and you send them to our website, businessquestionsansweredhere.com. It's very simple, very easy. We'll get them in there, and hopefully you're liking the new format we have here for the questions. 3 quick, simple questions, including revisiting a question from a past episode. You can give us any comment and feedback via the website as well. We appreciate that. Of course, we want you to be a part of everything we do every single week, so make sure you subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss out on an episode. We are on basically where all major podcasts are found. We're on Apple Podcasts or Apple Music, whatever it's called these days, iTunes thing. Also, we're on Stitcher, we're on Spreaker, we're on Google Play. We're basically anywhere you can get it. And of course, if you have a favorite podcatcher, stop by our website. There's a link for the RSS feed, so you can just pick it up and take it along with you as well. You can also find out more information about my other projects by simply going to my main website, which is jclevelandpayne.net. It has my blog, has links to other podcasts and other projects that are in various states of being done or not being done, including books, upcoming engagements, webinars, things like that. You can check it out at my main website, jclevelandpayne.net. You can find out all you need to know for me at the website. And, of course, just make sure you come back here for another great episode. We like to think they're great episodes of Business Questions Answered here, where we do our best to help you out by giving you advice from a guy who's been there and messed it up a couple times, plus some of his friends who have done sometimes much better than he has. Thank you so much for being a part of what we have here going on. Subscribe and don't miss out on another episode coming up of Business Questions Answered here.